Welcome to Slicing Through the Noise, a leader's story, the podcast that uncovers real stories behind impactful leadership. Join us as we explore how leaders cut through the chaos, master powerful listening, and build cultures of accountability and vision. Whether you're a seasonal executive or an emerging leader, this is your space to learn, grow, and lead with integrity. Let's slice through the noise together. So, Chris, thank you very much for being on Slicing Through the Noise. Slicing Through the Noise is all about the real story about you. And it uncovers, what it takes to get to where you are, and what impactful leadership actually looks like. And we're going to explore the chaos.
That's good.
And what it takes to master powerful listening. Who are you now that you've learned to listen? And what has it taken to build a great culture at Big Dog? And have accountability conversations and drive a vision and values that make a difference. And so it doesn't matter. So whoever's listening, it doesn't matter who they are, whether they're a seasoned executive, a CEO like you, or an aspiring leader, they're going to get something out of this conversation because it's your story and it's real. That's what I'm interested in. I mean, we've hung out together for 4 years, I was calculating, and I thought, I think we may know each other a little bit. And so we can slice through some of that noise together and go, what the heck? And, I'll ask you things that you'll automatically know the answer. We're just going to weave a story together about Big Dog.
Okay.
So maybe, it's for me, even though I've hung out with you guys a number of years, it was good to go back and read some of your other stuff. And I listened to a podcast that a guy was interviewing you on and what you did and, your whole career and how you chose food science and then eventually I think the great thing that I really understood from what I can see that you're up to, you've combined two passions, a passion for nutrition and food and that sciencey part and a love for animals.
Yeah.
So you've got your two loves that came together for you to create an extraordinary business. Yeah. And also we'll cover it off soon. It's like hell, you had to educate the market.
Yeah.
There was a lot of noise about this, people had even written books about it that I saw. No one had actually figured out how to do this. And I remember having a dog once and deciding that really they needed proper food, and this smelly stuff that we were feeding them was just terrible. So I decided that I would make the dog food. And now that I've been to your factory and I've seen how seamlessly you guys do it, I go, it was just a nightmare. And then I said to my husband at the time, hey, I think you're supposed to have the bones in there. And he's smashing bones in the yard. And I thought about it after reading some of what you wrote. And I thought, no one's going to do this.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
It's too hard.
So I think it's extraordinary what you've done. You've taken two things and you're building a business that's amazing. And, when our pooch is happy, we're happy.
Yeah, for sure. They're part of the family. So
they're just part of the family.
Yeah, they're just like another kid. So when they're not feeling good, neither are we.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't work if they're not feeling great.
Yeah.
And I've watched a friend of mine nurse her dog through last parts of life and all of that. And I go, these animals are part of our lives. And how do we, have them live healthy lives?
Yeah.
I remember one of the things that you said to me when we first started to work together and have conversations. I said, what's the difference between feeding your dog dry food and your food. And I remember you saying it's like giving your dog Fruit Loops.
Yeah, 100%.
It's always stuck with me, right? Why are we feeding our dog Fruit Loops?
Yeah.
Because it's like I know people feed their children Fruit Loops and then they get obesity problems. Well, your dog gets the same.
Yeah.
So
obesity, but behavioural issues as well.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same as the dog.
So I want to go deep diving into all of your thinking and how you came to all of this. And every time I hear you talk about it, I get inspired about it. I tell my friends, you got to feed them Big Dog. and, it's like I think there's a big history for you behind what actually happened and how come you ended up here. So let's start with the early influences in your life, right?
Yeah.
So, like I know, like you didn't do well in your last years of school. And yet
did I share that with you, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
You told me everything.
I sure did.
And I did write some of it down.
Yeah.
So I got the goss on you.
You have.
And you mentioned, yet you discovered a passion for food science.
Yeah.
And even though, how did that early struggle and your perspective on learning and influencing that influence your career?
Well, I think my passion for nutrition is funny enough. I can still remember I was a paper boy. I was 12 years old and I used to sell a paper to a bakery owner. And she's a lovely lady. She gave me a jam donut every afternoon. So it was my favourite thing, my favourite customer. I knew I'd get my jam donut. But then I started putting on this weight. What's going on here? And I was only 12.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, no, this isn't good. I've got to cut this out. So I started at that age, really starting to be interested in nutrition because I wanted to be a footballer.
Yes.
I was playing football and that sort of stuff. And I was going okay with sport. So I think way back then is when I started thinking about what I put in my mouth all the way back then.
Wow.
Yeah, when you think about it as a 12, 13-year-old, you go,
Did it?
Yeah.
I haven't ever met a 12 or 13-year-old that wouldn't eat a jam donut or 3 every day.
Yeah, I know. I actually ended up turning it down.
Yeah, so it's like that level of consciousness that you had.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Well, I was just interested in nutrition and sport. I really wanted to do well in sport, and I knew nutrition was certainly a pathway to excelling in sport at that point in time. So that passion, I was always interested in it. Always watched what I kind of ate while I was growing up, and I think with high school and that sort of thing, you're right. I didn't do well in the last 2 years because I was a little bit rebellious. My father moved me to another high school, and I didn't want to go, so that was my way. But, in HP, I loved that. That was always still because you're still doing nutrition and exercise and sport, so that was always good. But didn't do great at the end of the year, in year 12 with my T score was back then.
Yeah.
And it was actually my father who was in the food game.
Mm.
He said, I still remember, he said, what about food science, technology and that sort of thing? And, you're already interested in that anyway. And, you've been working in that sort of, because I used to go, my old man was an industrial chemist. His business was, so they'd make the hams and cures for them. So I was kind of there anyway, and it just sounded interesting. I was already in nutrition, so I applied for that and got into uni. Clearly not too many people did. That's why I got in with the IT school. And, 12 months later, I ended up at uni.
Yeah. It's funny that, isn't it? It's like, you got in. And I reckon a lot of times back then, this is a few years ago now, I think also they do gauge on people's passion rather than their T-score.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to do this. I'd take a person's attitude long before I take everything else. Look, I want them to be somewhat smart and figure it out.
Yeah, and there's rules. You still got to hit certain scores to get in. It wasn't like I totally bombed out, but it wasn't as high as what it could have been.
Yeah.
If I had applied a bit more. But, so I moved into food science, and that's where it all really started.
So So your father encouraged you, and eventually you ended up in the pet food industry, which is interesting too. So what was the moment or experience where you crystallised that this was meant for you?
Being in the pet industry?
Yeah.
I was already 7 years out of university. I'd been working in a small goods business, and I'd worked my way through the different management levels, I suppose. I started as a QA officer, QA manager, moved across into operations and production. And in a roundabout way, I was presented with this opportunity or asked about, I was speaking to a little pet store owner who were talking about this diet that there'd been books written about it, but it just wasn't on the market and available, and they needed somebody to make it. We got talking a bit more on my background, Smallgoods and that, and when I did my homework on it, it sounded like very similar to making Smallgoods, to tell the truth. Different ingredients, a lot of different ingredients. Yeah. But it's the same as making Smallgoods. There's a lot of different ingredients in that as well. This machinery sounded the same. My supply chain would have been very similar. So that presented an opportunity. And it was niche too, because there's nothing on the market.
Yes.
This was a brand new product that just sounded right. It was really, it made a lot of common sense, nutritionally wise, but then it also gave the opportunity to better the lives of a lot of animals out there. It just made sense for them.
Better lives for them.
For sure.
And then their owners.
And their owners.
Dog.
Yeah. And we were ahead of our time with that as well, because I think what we've seen in this category right now, we are the fastest growing category in the industry. There's a lot of people now getting off processed diets and moving to the raw diets, or lightly cooked diets even, because it's all about nutrition. They're part of the family. They want what's best for their pet. They treat them like children, and they want longevity.
Yes.
They want that well-being and longevity, and that's what our diet will support.
Wow. So, like, I never think of food as a science. And yet you that's what, for you, it's passion and it's the science as well. So that's amazing. So when you look back on your career, and at 25, you end up with this huge team that you're managing, and then you meet someone and they go, look, this is what I really want. And then you transition to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at your leadership lessons from those first early years, I mean, at 25, you're leading a huge team of people. What got you there? What do you think was different? Because there were people that you were leading that were much older than you. How come you were the leader?
Yeah, in the Smallgoods company, there was 240 staff, and all they were young and older, all the way through. So, and I had 6 managers after me. We'd run 24 hours a day, night shift and day shift. I don't know. I really loved it.
Yes,
I really loved making Smallgoods.
Yeah.
That was just my environment. And I enjoyed the people side of thing as well. They were a lot of fun. Some not so much, but majority were.
Does that ever change?
No. Some
good, some not so good.
Yeah.
Some...
we've got all walks of life, and different people. So they're the challenge that are a day-to-day thing as a leader. But I think I had an appetite for wanting to always grow and develop myself. I got given opportunities young to go to workshops. I think back then I was given quite a bit of opportunity actually. And, I just got on that journey pretty quickly.
Yeah. So you take the leap. Ta-da, here I am. I'm going to build this business.
Yeah.
From a secure role in a small goods company.
Yep.
With a trajectory in leadership, you decide, no, what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go and do this.
Yeah.
Could you just walk us through some of the moments when you went, what the am I doing?
There's lots of moments like that.
Yeah.
I think I think at that age you're full of enthusiasm and you're brave, and you wanted something different. I was going pretty well. I thought, oh well, if I fail, I can come back. I can come back to this life. I'll prove myself there. I enjoy it. So I think that there was that feeling of security a little bit there if I did fail.
Yeah.
The first year, and it's a big learning curve. Nothing gets you ready for going into business. Like I thought I knew a fair bit about it. I knew nothing. I knew nothing other than raising a purchase order. And, I had an open checkbook buying stuff. But when you work for yourself and you're buying, you got to pay that guy back.
Yes.
That's not what I realised. Where that money's coming from, that cash flow, you got to pay it at some stage. Where you didn't have those strains on you when I was just out there buying product for a small goods company. So obviously I knew that was there, but wow, the cash flow learnings out of it was pretty intense. The first 12 months in business with Big Dog, I lost $80,000. The second year I lost another 40. And I remember saying, well, 120 in the hole, I can still climb out of this. I'm only young. I'm 20, 28 by then. I can do that. But Kirsten, my wife at the time, and I never agreed on we should close the doors. So when I wanted to, Kirsten didn't. When Kirsten wanted to, I didn't want to. If we had agreed on the same, we might have got there, but we just never did.
That's a really good combination. No, we're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
What a great thing.
It was, so a lot of support to get through. Then we had a lot of support as well on the way, family and that sort of stuff. But
and you also had a baby at the same time.
Yeah, the oldest.
Why not?
Sam, yeah.
Sam.
Throw that in the pot.
Hello, Sam. That's just...
That's right.
You can crawl out the floor down here while we build a business.
That's right. Welcome. So Sammy was born in the year that we started Big Dog as well. So he was born in September. Sorry, he'll come in for that. He was born in March, and we actually opened the doors to Big Dog in September. So he was pretty big dog.
He was raised on this business. It's no different.
No, he's seen everything, actually. He's been there from day dot, yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard some wonderful things about Sam's passion for the business. And maybe you fed it to him. Well, not the food, but the...
Well, him and Jack both saw a lot of the factory on weekends. And there wasn't any such thing as holidays, really, for us in that, Yeah.
So say more about that. It's like if you're going to go and start a business, just get real about what it's going to take.
Get very real. Yeah, because, and I think there's why a lot of businesses do fail. They're just not, they're not ready for the work that has to be done.
Yes.
It's 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Your doors might be open 7 days a week, but you're on 7 days a week. If you're down there prepping or doing something in the meat game for what we are.
Trying to figure out how to pay the next bill.
Trying to figure out that, and you're on the phone, you're negotiating, you're trying to buy raw materials. It doesn't stop. Your brain doesn't stop either because you're always, there's a fear because you're wondering, how am I going to pay that bill? And I don't want to let my supplier down, but I'm going to have this hard conversation with them tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to pay in time, or what can we do, and all that sort of stuff. So, I think that's a very real thing with business.
So would you, if you talk about to leaders about that, like a lot of times, like you worked in a well-established small goods thing, you actually never felt that until you went in for yourself and went, oh my. Yeah.
Well, the biggest pressure on me for when I was working for somebody else is having to do a bit of overtime. Really, because you're on salary and it just means I might have to work this Saturday or something like that. But that's it. You still jump in your car and away you go. It's not like that with your own business.
Yes.
You're still doing those hours and some.
Yes.
But you're still, as I said, you're on the phone when you're not on the tools, and you say, how am I going to get to the next base? It's tough.
It is tough. And I think there is a thing out there in the world where people have I call it an entrepreneurial seizure, and they don't have that staying power, because the only thing, I've started 3 businesses that I know is it's tough. And actually, it never gets easy. It actually never gets easy. I mean, you have moments.
Yeah. Yeah, it evolves. You change. As your business evolves, I think that complexity changes.
Yes.
So there's always challenges, but that level of challenge changes.
Well, what's challenging you is different, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at what challenges me today versus what challenged me 40 years ago when I first started my entrepreneurial world is very different to what it is today.
Yeah.
Today, new pressures, new things. So resilience and perseverance is the name of the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And, if you think about your sporting career and that kind of thing, how did that give you a tool in your toolbox for perseverance and resilience?
Yeah, I definitely think there's they're very much the same. You've got people relying on you in a football team, and that's what I play, was rugby league. There's people, but you've got coaches as well, and you're going to get knocked down. That's part of the game. You're going to have to get up as well.
Yes.
And if you want to keep going and climbing the grades in footy, that's just part of it. You've got to be mentally fit. You've got to be physically fit. So I think all those traits all come together in business as well, unless you're a sole trader and you're doing it all by yourself, sort of thing. But
even then, you're just having an argument with yourself.
You really are. And don't worry, that was me for 6 months. I'd open up, I'd be on the tools, I'd be clean-up boy and salesman. So that was a bit.
You were everything. Bow, put on another hat.
Yeah, I got sick of talking to myself.
It's a sign of insanity.
I got to get somebody in here. I'm sick of talking to myself. It's boring.
The entrepreneur's journey.
Isn't this fun?
When you get tired of talking to yourself, you hire someone and they can just listen to
That's
you.
right. You keep talking.
I think that's kind of real, isn't it? It's like there are moments when you're building and there's only you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was real. That was 6 months of just me on the tools and doing everything for a particular amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I actually think, I've taken a business from nothing and it was like, is anyone out there? Someone please tell me I'm not quite insane yet.
Yeah.
So let's talk about educating the market. Like you said, it's the biggest category at the moment.
Fastest growing.
Fastest growing. What's the size of that market? How much do you think raw food, as you educate that market, like I did read somewhere once, is don't enter an industry where you have to educate the market. And all my businesses have been educating the market. It's grueling. Tell us a bit about that.
It's grueling. Well, the product that we make nowadays is commonly referred to as BARF. So
what does that stand for?
Yeah, it's biologically appropriate raw food, or an easy one is bones and raw food diets. Dr. Ian Billinghurst wrote the books about these. Written 3 books on it. They were already on the market at that stage when I came along, and that's really what they were trying to replicate. And I had a working relationship with Dr. Ian for 8 years under his brand when we first came to the market. So he had spoken. He was going around. He was doing lectures and that on it as well. But
what, here in Australia?
Yeah. But for me to start knocking on doors and stores to ask them if they're even interested in ranging a BARF product, the looks that you get, because everybody refers to BARF as what the Americans call throwing up.
Yeah, well, that's my immediate response.
Yeah.
Like I go, Okay, we're going to feed them vomit.
Yeah. So that all those jokes I got when I'm knocking on doors. And at that stage as well, this, raw food or mince, bones, it wasn't that common. So even if you had a pet store that might have ranged a little bit of mince or bones, it was right down the back, in the back corner. Nobody knew it was there. You had to go rummaging through and try to find whatever you wanted. So the appetite for this particular type of diet was not there. So the educational process was huge, and it still is today. I mean, that is our number one drive, I suppose, and what we have to do is continue to educate the market on this, because there's been a lot of bad commentary around it as well that we've had to deal with from professionals in the industry. But that was our business, is just constantly going and talking and getting that opportunity, just to put some in, and then the recurring. And it's exciting when I think back now on what it was. It daunting, but really exciting to see the different stages where the interest got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I remember saying, geez, I'd just be happy to sell one pallet a day of this. I said, we'd be fine. We'd be fine. And that pallet was 80 cartons.
Yes.
So that's 320 retail packs. Oh, geez, that'd be just amazing.
I would be a king then.
Yeah, I could pay myself, because I didn't pay myself until 5 years into the business.
Yes.
But that was, I remember that.
Yeah.
But that's the journey. The educational journey is just.
I think that's massive, and I think a lot of people that have their entrepreneurial seizures actually don't know that if you're getting in on something where you're educating the market, how hard you have to work.
Yep.
And you take a lot of no's.
You take a lot of no's because it's easier. It's new. They don't. Well, do they want that risk?
Yes.
As a pet shop, do they really want it? So unless there was a little bit of a passion or interest personally for them, that was always an easier sell. But geez, on some of the other ones, it was tough.
Yeah. So starting and building a brand from scratch.
Yep.
Literally. People didn't know this thing.
No, the retailers certainly didn't. There were people out there that were feeding raw feeding. Absolutely, they were, and they're doing it themselves. Or you mentioned before that you had a crack at it. There was people out there. So people reading the books and attending lectures and that, but they're very small to try to run a business on and pay your bills.
Well, and also finding them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
How do you find it?
And then them trusting your brand as well. Yeah.
So, one of the things that I know is that you have some really high QA standards.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and how that made it even more difficult.
Yeah. I don't know if it was more difficult, because I think by having high QA standards, it does make your process, your testings and that of the product and that more efficient. And you definitely have a procedure that you always follow in system. So, because my background was in human consumption, I'd been exposed to a lot. I was a QA officer, QA manager. A lot of those procedures and work instruction and process were already there. I'd already been operating at that level, and I just made the point that I'm going to start my business. This is a strict. We won't go into a pet food kind of grade. We will operate as a HC plant. We will make.
What does that stand for?
Human consumption.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We don't want to, even though we're making pet food, I don't want to look and I don't want to smell like a pet food place.
Actually, I've been in your factory.
Yeah.
And I was surprised.
Yeah. And a lot of people say that.
I go, how come it doesn't stink in here?
Yeah.
Because I've been in another and I wanted to throw up.
Yeah.
It was buff.
Yeah, it was buff. Yeah, I think and then we've always maintained that. It doesn't matter that it's pet food. We'll have a HC grade and we will continue with all of our process. I mean, not only that, here in Queensland as a manufacturer, there is no two different legislation between human consumption manufacturing as opposed to pet food manufacturing. Okay. You follow the same standards regardless. So we will follow the same standards as what a butcher will or a small goods manufacturer.
So, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how come other places stink?
Well, unfortunately, there's probably HC places that stink too.
Yeah.
But it's just their process and procedures, raw materials that they will use. I'm very selective on what we use, and some of my supply chain today are still the same suppliers that I used when I was in the small goods industry.
Okay.
So I've got that long-term relationship with them, and they know my standards. We know each other's standards and specifications, and we just follow it.
So if you take your standards and then we talk about like your leadership philosophy. So, we have a human consumption standard, and we are maintaining that.
Yeah.
And you bring that into your leadership philosophy then. Like, what happens to you when people break your standards?
What happens to me?
Yeah, what happens to you when people don't live up to what you believe is who Big Dog is?
Well, there's a very quick conversation.
You just have one of those conversations.
Yeah, where I remind them of our standards and what we're about. And it's not just staff who work for me, it's also those supply chain in that as well. We're quite transparent, or I'm quite transparent on that.
Yeah.
And so is the rest of the team now. They just know where we need to be. And if we do have staff that just can't maintain those standards, well, they're probably just not going to be part of the Big Dog family for much longer.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But
we give them every opportunity, obviously.
Yeah. So your core principles about what your standards are guide your people. Like, this is how we do things around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So building a team.
Yep.
So Big Dog expands. You get over your 5-year hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
You get to pay yourself. Yay.
Yeah.
I can still remember the first time I paid myself in integrity and values. I only paid myself $200 because it was 36 years ago. And I was so excited. I went and bought myself a sewing machine cabinet, and I still have it. And I won't throw it out because that I bought with my first paycheck.
Yeah, and well done. It's nice.
It's like
It reminds you.
Yeah, it reminds me where my roots are.
Yeah, that's right.
So you get to pay yourself, and it's really exciting, right? So now you're building a team. What have you found to be the most effective strategies in hiring, training, retaining a strong team?
Well, I've only just really stumbled on it when I met you. To be fair, the profile is a major part of our business today.
Yeah.
Everybody gets profiled in our business.
Yeah.
And it tells the story.
Yeah.
This is your brainchild, but it tells the story of that person.
Yeah.
There's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
And any time in our business that we've gone away from that profiling, we've fallen over.
Yeah. Yeah.
The profile.
By the way, I wasn't expecting you to talk about
the profile wasn't even the be all and end all.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very nice start for us with our people to know.
Yeah.
And if we still, they're a bit weak in some areas and we think that we're going to take that challenge on, it gives us a good indication where we really need to hone in and offer a little bit more support and mentoring in those particular areas.
Yeah.
And the way we can engage in conversation with them.
So, like dealing with every leader faces setbacks.
Yep.
I don't know one that doesn't, or someone who pretends to me that they don't. I just don't want to even have a conversation with them. So whether it's the product not performing or a partnership falling over or an unexpected market challenges, can you share some of the challenges that you have faced and the significant setbacks and how you overcame it?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I had was 8 years into the business. We were manufacturing for Dr. Ian. And look, our relationship just went different ways.
Yeah.
Went different ways. So he went to an alternative manufacturer. That then presented an opportunity for me to bring out a Big Dog brand because we're always trading under Dr. B's bath. So that overnight was a 50%. I lost my volumes and 50%. And we were on a nice trajectory at that point in time, 8 years in. And it was worrying, and there was one particular corporate that I spoke to that gave me the opportunity to, they would roll over to my brand.
Wow.
Yep. And if I didn't have that support there, I probably I wouldn't be in here. So very grateful for that.
So we wouldn't be having this conversation today.
No.
So talk about those opportunities where you're in the right place at the right time, and someone you've demonstrated. So that whole piece about the demonstration that you can produce results, and therefore someone is willing to go, okay, I'll go with you. So what does that actually take as a leader?
Well, I think you've got to be brave, because you've got to get on the phone and you've got to be really transparent with them on the situation. That's what happened there. I was very transparent on what had just happened, what I would do, my business, to support them in every possible way. And I had to be urgent.
Yes.
I had to. I was straight on the phone.
Yes.
And straight on a plane and flying interstate when that happened. So, there was a lot at stake for me at that time.
Yeah.
So
that courage and bravery to say, you know what, this is my thing, this is my passion, I'm going for it, and then sitting on the edge of your seat going, now what? What the is going to happen here?
Yeah.
And yet that wonderful space of being absolutely committed that this is what's going to happen.
Yep. I think I was also committed to my people too, my staff, because my accountant said, you need to put a few people off. And I said, I'm not doing it. Now, our volumes were okay and would support that current staff level that I had at that point in time, and I just wasn't going to do it. I didn't want to do it. So it's not always about the dollar. I think I learnt that lesson. The dollar helps. You still have to pay bills. But once I got confirmation from that corporate that would still continue to support me, and I knew my business plan and what that cash flow would look like, I was more than happy just to regroup, share it with the team, be transparent with the team, and let them know where we were, and then just let's go again.
So let's talk a bit more about when we're transparent as leaders with the people we're selling to, with the people who are our suppliers and our staff, especially our staff.
Yeah.
What does that buy you?
What does it buy me?
I mean, that level, the courage to be that transparent. What does it give you?
I think it gives me the trust from my staff, the loyalty from my staff, the appreciation. And it would personally give me that I've been clear, I've been true to my team. And I think that just takes any roadblocks out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's just get in, roll our sleeves up and get into it. So we're all in this together, We call it the Big Dog family, and that's how we always talk.
Well, whenever I've been there, it's like we're a family.
Yeah.
And it does make it a lot easier when things get tough.
Yeah.
Because the only thing we'll guarantee is that there'll be good times and there'll be tough times.
Yeah.
Right? And when it's good, fantastic, let's ride this wave. And really, it's when it's tough, you discover who you are and who your people are.
Yeah.
And that's really... So let's talk about the long-term vision and adaptation that you've made. And how have you made balancing and staying true to Big Dog's original values of raw, natural, high-quality pet food and sticking with it and adapting to a changing market? Like, give us a little bit about what that's been like.
Well, the vision was also always at the beginning. I said we want Big Dog to be recognised as a common brand.
Yeah.
So if I go back to those days, Pal or Charm, remember all that rubbish in a can, still lives out there.
Stinky.
But it's terrible. But people knew that brand. And I said, well, how amazing would it be if Big Dog got to that level? Where somebody said, what do you feed? I feed Big Dog. Oh, okay, so that's raw and this and that. That's fantastic. Imagine that. I mean, we're not there. We're not there still after 25 years. People still go, Big Dog, what's that? But it is nice when I go to luncheons or something like that. And what do you do, Chris? I've got a business, pet food. I make that. Oh, I feed that. It's amazing. That happens a lot too, which is awesome. It's wonderful. But we've got a long way to go to be a really recognised brand out there. So I think we've never strayed from that vision. Raw, natural products. We've had opportunities to. We've been asked to, but we won't. That is the vision, and we won't refrain from it.
So remember I said at the beginning, it's like there's an integrity that you're displaying that says this is who we are.
Yeah.
And it's, when it's tough, right, and the cash ain't there, sometimes we'll prostitute. Have you ever done prostitution? Well, not real, but,
Wow. No.
Well, let's cut that part out. That's a blooper. I can remember once.
I'm happy for you to leave it in there. Just so everyone knows. No.
Prostitution. But when we let go of what we value, it feels like that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, you're selling your soul.
You sell your soul. Yeah. And in the moment that you do that, everything that you believe in gets lost.
Everything gets lost.
And it's like starting again from scratch. And I've been around so many organisations, I've seen it.
Yep.
And I have accused a CEO once of being a prostitute.
Yeah.
And I said, don't prostitute the vision and the values that you have about what you're doing and why.
Yeah.
So could you say more about your observation? Because you run around that entrepreneurial world. What do you see happens when people let go of what they value?
Oh, well, I think in my industry and any industry, I think you just see a quality shift. You see a quality shift and you think that people won't recognise. They will recognise it. They buy your product because they know your product. They trust your product. They look at it every day. And you think that you're going to get away with changing some ingredients for that are a cheaper, nastier ingredient. You're going to get caught. And the risk is just not there. Not only that, you go around as a business and a leader in your business and hold people accountable for what we are and what we do. And these are our values on the wall.
Yeah.
And then you go and do something like that.
Yep.
You're a hypocrite. You're just not doing, it's never going to work because anything else that comes after that now, you've just lost all,
So there's a massive conversation in the business world around that letting go of values and what's important around here. And that whole notion that when you're driving down the road, everybody knows you're coming. And you're the standard bearer of the organisation. This is who we are.
Yep.
This is what we do. So let's talk about maintaining your passion when it's tough, when it's not. So you grew up loving dogs and animals, and that passion led you into creating Big Dog and improving pet health. How do you keep passionate after all these years with all the ups and downs, especially when dealing with day-to-day pressures of running a company?
Yeah. I think we're all built differently. I just, I haven't ever not loved it. I mean, I've had the opportunity to go on this journey and build a business that's, as I said, it's just me at one stage. Now we've got 80 staff and families and whatnot. It's, it's the staff are a challenge.
Yeah.
Always a challenge. But you know, it's lovely seeing an energetic team.
Yeah.
And they pick me up some days. Sometimes I am a bit deflated, you know, so and that's real.
Yeah.
But then you go into work and you see that they're bouncing around and the conversations they're having with customers or internally with each other and whatnot. It's a massive pick me up. So
yeah.
I don't think I can't see Big Dog ever not having that passion and the continued passion that we have as a business and as a business family to continue on the journey that we are. But you know, business is hard. I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know you read many books. I don't read anywhere near as many as you, but the only books I read is a business book or it's a nutrition book.
Yeah.
And I started it since I was 20 years old, and 30 years later, I'm still reading those sort of books. So I have this general passion for nutrition, business, and you know, I've got a wonderful opportunity to bring those two together and do that on a daily basis. And in bring my family in, my real family, like my two boys are in the business now as well. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about working with the boys and what that's like. Because there's
hard.
a lot of family home-owned businesses and I don't think it's easy.
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard. You know, I've got two boys, Sam and Jack. Sam, they're two totally different boys and always have been. But, you know, the passion is there from both, and it just comes. It presents itself differently. Yeah. And the mentoring and guiding is different as well, because two different young lads or young men that just need that mentoring in a different way. Yeah. And sometimes it's easier. And sometimes it's just bloody hard.
It's just bloody hard.
Bloody hard work. They're still your boys. And, you know, the other thing you've got to be aware of is when we come to work, there's a line in the sand. I'm the MD, and you guys are responsible for whatever part you play in the business. You know, so let's just appreciate that. And, you know, as soon as we drive out, I'm dad again. Yeah. Yeah.
I can recall, maybe you can relate to this, is when my son came to work inside of our business. I said to him, I'm not your mother when you come to work. My name's Jennifer. And like we've worked together. This is his 16th year. And it's a real privilege to have your children actually want to stay with you and be in there. The thing that's really amazing is like the moments when the end of the day comes and he'll walk into my office and say, hey, Mum, what are you doing for dinner? And there was one staff member once and said, is he your son? And she'd been there about 2 or 3 months, and I'm going, how did you not know that? We're a very small office. Well, obviously she didn't know that he was actually my son. Yeah. So, and it does take something to work in family-owned businesses. Yeah. Because the dynamic is different. I remember having a little conversation once with Sam, and I said, you are the son of the founder. You all need to act like it.
That's exactly right. You know, so there's that extra pressure on them straight away anyway.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And it's hard. So just in closing, like your vision of bringing raw passion to pet health and well-being. Yeah. Say more about that. I mean, I can remember when you created that as a team and what a difference that has made for your business and how you use that in your business.
Yeah, so that sort of language is used regularly in our business. Our values are also part of that language. And in any part of the communication we have with our team, or it won't be good or bad, this is what we're about. So, and it gives some substance to anybody who walks into our door and they know immediately what we're about. Yes. You know, it's quite powerful, but they get it very quickly. And all of that is also part of our induction process as well. Yeah. You know, what
having
we're about
them understand it.
Having them understand it. Yeah. Our values, and you know, it's all, they get us very quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's a tool that you've injected into the business and said this is who we are, and don't stray.
That's right.
Don't be a stray dog.
Don't be a stray dog, because you won't be here much longer. You'll go to the kennel. But
I'll send you to the kennel.
But the team, that's not on me. That's on the team. They work that out themselves, majority of the time.
Yeah.
With a personality that doesn't fit.
Yeah. So here, what's a piece of advice that you'd give to an aspiring entrepreneur or leader? And for those who are listening, who are at the crossroads and may be unsure, do they pursue their passion or take a safer route? What practical advice would you offer people based on your journey and the lessons you've learned?
Well, my wish for them was that if that's their passion, that is definitely where they need to be, because getting out of bed every day to go to work is tough enough. But if you're very passionate about it and you love it, well, that just makes it that little bit easier. Every business book I haven't written one yet, but I will. No, I'm
You're going to write one.
That I've read always said that there's light at the end of the tunnel at the 5-year mark. So if you can just embrace the grind of business and all the complexities, true to the word for me and my business at that 5-year mark, that's where I saw light at the end of the tunnel. That's where I got my first paycheck. So, make sure that you're passionate about what you're thinking of doing. Do some homework. Make sure there is a little bit of a niche. And, you don't want to go and be another business there's really thousands out there doing the same thing. What's going to be different about your business that these other 2,000 businesses aren't already doing? That's probably.
I love that piece you just said. Do your homework.
Do your homework. Know your numbers. Know your business plan, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Go. There's still some part. Go and enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Like enjoy the business part, but you've got to have a go.
Yeah.
And if you fall over along the way, you fall over. That's how you learn and get back up. And we all did.
Yep.
There's plenty of opportunity to correct yourself, and there's plenty of and get in business circles. That's another important thing. Get around other business owners, like-minded people who have had the same challenges that you're just about to go through. Because we can help you out.
So hanging out with like-minded people is a really big part. So Chris, thank you very much for being on Slicing Through the Noise. I've really appreciated this conversation, given me a whole nother view on yourself and your business. And for those of you who are listening today, Big Dog Pet Foods, if you're in Australia, are you guys in New Zealand yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. If you're in Australia, then you want to feed your dogs this food. I've seen my friends do it. I think I've become the advocate for Big Dog. Great product and a passionate group of people ensuring the lives of pets are fantastic. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Jennifer.
That's it for today. If our discussion sparked any new ideas or insights for you, or if any part of today's episode resonated with you, please drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. That way, you'll be the first to hear about upcoming episodes and fresh perspectives. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.